Welcome to the Raise Up Mindset podcast with your hosts, Charlie and Athena Grimm.
Well, welcome to the Raise Up podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We have been out of town for a little while.
Out of country.
And we've got all kinds of interesting things to share with you guys. So stay tuned and welcome.
If you guys have been following us, you'll see that we've been to Egypt and Thailand and Mexico and Dallas and all these different places. And we got lots of experiences and stuff to tell you about some of the different places that we visited. So thank you guys for following us. And I know I get a lot of posts about our trips, and I appreciate every one of you guys.
So. Yes, and so if you don't follow Charlie on Facebook, definitely look for him, because that's where he is the family archivist, and he's telling our story. And it's usually happening in real time. So just to kind of like back up, we were in Egypt for
almost 3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks, yes. And so, yes, the pyramids were amazing, the temples were amazing, the company was amazing, and
food, culture, I mean, it was there.
Yes.
Don't drive in Egypt. Let me just understand, do not drive in Egypt. We made that mistake. We rented a car and we drove around, and driving there is a whole different world of driving. But
Yes. And so apparently that's not a thing. And we like to explore and really see the culture and be immersed in it when we travel to different places in the world. And our friend who lives in Cairo was like, I never heard of anybody coming as a foreigner and renting a car.
Which we've done everywhere, Paris, Rome, all over Egypt, everywhere. I mean, all over Thailand. It's just been one of our things that we do. It's just, I even got an international driver's license.
Yes, he's got that. So, one of the things that I think about is I kind of like to be on my own flow. And I also, sometimes the energy that a driver's putting off is a bit intense. Remember that time in Greece, holy cow.
I wasn't in Greece, I think, at the morning time.
Hong Kong
with the 30 different devices on the guy's dashboard. I think it's like, we're out of here.
So that's probably more my comfort zone, and Charlie's willingness to just be part of the...
Figure it out, driving on the wrong side of the road, people coming at you with no headlights on the highway. It was interesting. Egypt was amazing. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. My wife had set this amazing trip up. And when she says she likes to do her own flow, we usually go to a place and we just kind of go as we please. And this is the first time we've ever been on a guided tour where people told us... people told us when to be there, what to do, where we're going to go, and what we're going to see. And the people did a great job. They were amazing. It was top notch. The buses, the hotels, the food, the atmosphere, the behind the scenes that we got. I mean, it was just...
The cruise on the Nile.
Cruise on the Nile was pretty cool.
We got a balloon ride in Luxor over the Valley of the Kings. It was just...
We had a lot of cool stuff there.
That was really cool. And
lots of exercise, 15 to 20,000 steps a day. If you guys understand, when you do these trips, you're going in the pyramids, you're going down by the tombs, you're going to all these things, and lots of hiking and lots of stairs and lots of small confined spaces.
And Egypt is very warm in the season that we were there, so keep in mind you are going to sweat.
It's the hottest we thought we've been in our life, and then my wife found somewhere hotter.
Yes. So then Egypt was absolutely you're in a small space, and then there's other humans in there with body heat, and it's already hot outside. And so, yes, we spent 2 hours with our group inside the king's tomb, which is like a chamber. And it was I sweated it wasn't our Egyptian sweat lodge.
Box. Hot. I sweated so much that the sweat from my t-shirt ran into my shorts, and I'm like, why are my shorts wet? I told Athena, I'm like, did I piss myself? My shorts are drenchy wet. I mean, I wrung them out and I could just get sweat on them. And I know that sounds gross, but it was so warm in there that we realized how warm it was, but when sweat's rolling down your arms and your legs, you understand how hot it is. And we didn't have any direct sunlight. We didn't have any light whatsoever. And we were just in this box with all these other people. and we got pretty warm. So it was an adventure.
Well, and you gotta remember, we're from Alaska. We don't sweat like that here. It doesn't get that hot here.
It gets
really
warm, it gets nice, but
So-
nothing that
Okay,
hot.
so if you have any specific questions about Egypt, by all means, DM Charlie. He's got a story and he's got a picture to prove
I
whatever.
got all the pictures. In fact, I'll post some more of them up in there and show people. But yeah, it was a good experience, and we met lots of great people on this trip. Like a lot of like-minded people, and
amazing
and we have relationships, and people want to come and visit, and it's always an adventure. Especially when you live in Alaska, everybody's always pretty intrigued with the
Yes.
Alaska part of it.
Lots of curious minds.
So then we left there.
And we flew to Bangkok.
Thailand. So for people who don't know where Bangkok is, it's in Thailand. And then we had our kids fly up and meet us the next day.
Yeah, so we were in Bangkok we were in Egypt. Originally, we had our daughter planned to join us in Bangkok. And then we were gone for
Couple
about
weeks.
a week. And little Charlie's like, I decided I want to come to Thailand. And so we shifted gears, got him on the plane, and him and his sister flew to meet us. And we spent 2 weeks with them there.
2.5 weeks, yeah.
Yep, and we have our places that we like to go. Our massage prices are kind of stabilizing.
10, 12 bucks an hour. It's just amazing. And then just the culture there again, the people, the culture, the food, just everything's so good there. And just people are so kind and nice. There was nothing being threatening, nothing, you never have to worry about it. I mean, we could let our kids go to the store and there's no thought anybody snatch and grab them. And yeah, no, our
Well, they're
kids too.
kind of grown, but the piece I think that you're really talking about is it's like we feel completely safe there, and there isn't this sense of resistance.
And we drive there, and that's no problem anymore. It used to be one of our toughest places to drive.
Not
and after
anymore.
leaving Egypt, it is no longer. Cairo was way different. So actually getting to Thailand, I told Athena, I said, I feel so much more relaxed here. And before, that was my tension zone because all the scooters and everything else there. But again, the food was excellent. The hotels were great. I mean, everything was just, it was a good
Yes,
good trip.
fresh food. And so then we were home for about a week and a half.
About 2 weeks, yeah.
And then we have a mastermind group that we're a part of.
Awaken, Inner Circle.
Yep. And so if you are somebody who's like thinking about joining a community of like-minded entrepreneurs or business owners, like do it. Just if you're being called to that group, just pull the trigger, pay the money, go do it. We're in a particular group now where we learn quite a bit, and we go to these interesting places, and we are always learning something.
You know, we were in Puerto Vallarta, right outside of Puerto Vallarta, and the hotel, I can tell you that as a business owner, and just the respect and the niceness, and then the people there at
They
that
had
hotel were second to none. I mean,
hospitality
they had
dialed
it dialed in. It just as easy as an app. Every morning they sent you texts and just say, good morning, what can we do for you? What can we do? And you could put text messages back and forth. And I even forgot my pillow there. We're pillow snobs, so we travel with our pillows because you never know what you're going to get at a hotel. So I left it there, and we had some friends that were still staying there, so I called and asked one of them to get it and they said, well, I have Charlie text us on the thread that it's okay to give it to you, and then we'll do it, But they were even willing to ship it to us and not charge us, and it was just like, they got it. It was, there was always waters in our cars. They were just great. They were just super nice. So the hotel killed it out of the park, and especially being in Mexico, that just the level of service they gave us, the food was amazing. They really cared about what they did. So I enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to enjoy it, because we've stayed at other resorts in Mexico and they've been great. They've been good, but this place really knocked it out to the park. We had a movie theater that they set up for us in the movie that
The group, it was good.
we watched The Matrix, and we're on the beach
fun.
with like all these huge beach lounge chairs that were out there, and had blankets out for us and towels, and they had hot cocoa, and they had popcorn made for us, and it was just like this great entertaining area. We got to release turtles there when we were there. We did a turtle release. There was like 400 or 500 small little itty bitty turtles this big. So it was a great trip.
So there's a organization that assists in repopulating this particular
Tuesdays.
turtles. turtle species. And so we happened to be landing at the same time there. And, it's also reminding me of that was a unique experience. But then I'm thinking back to when we were in Egypt and we saw the lunar eclipse.
Oh yeah, that was
and that was
on the Nile River on top of a
sitting
boat.
on the Nile River, cruising down the Nile River.
Yeah.
There was just so many interesting things about the trip, and what we really for me, when I boil it all down, it was, wow, there's just so much that you can receive by just being open to learning from every experience that you're in.
And I don't think Egypt was on our bucket list by any means. Somehow,
Egypt was not on the list.
somehow Athena felt a calling to go to it. So all of a sudden we had tickets to Egypt. So it was a lot of fun. And then right after we left Mexico, we had our Dallas trip.
Yeah, chauffeur-driven National Limousine Association, and it's always great to connect with affiliates and our peer group in the transportation industry, and to be a part of a lot of those discussions and mentor opportunities. And so we were really grateful to connect with them.
And we got to hook up with some of our favorite people. JR and Maria were there, and then we got to see Bill Faith, who I know Bill is huge in our industry, still is, and still comes back and does some teachings, but he's really moved on and done really good with his short-term rentals, and we got to get the new insights on that, so we had a lot of fun.
And really, what we hope you are hearing is that, yes, it sounds like we're just crazy busy and all of this, but this is our life that we get to choose, and you get to choose your life as well. And for us, this is light and fun and adventurous. And our organizations are still running. There's still seasons that we have yet to unpack on the podcast that we'll be sharing with you guys down the road. And it all doesn't have to be so serious, is what I'm saying. It is possible.
So anyways, well, we just wanted to share kind of what's going on with us right now. There's going to be more to come, and follow us.
Yes, you can find us anywhere that you meet social media, or at our website at raiseupmindset.com. And we will see you guys next time.
Yes. All right. Have a good day.
All right, well, welcome to the Raise Up Mindset podcast. We have a special guest with us today who has got a variety of backgrounds in leadership that we are just excited to share with you, Chris Swanson.
Yeah, Chris has been a good partner for a long time.
Yes, we go back, way back with Chris, and he's got some exciting things that he's in right now. And so welcome, Chris. Thank you for joining us today.
That's exciting. Tell us all about this all new thing that's going on.
Yeah. So our series is Leadership in Action, and you have been bumping all over, but we're really excited to hear about this latest adventure that you're on.
Well, so my latest adventure is in the early stages, and unfortunately there's not a whole lot of leadership in it yet. I've got a couple of business partners.
Dude, creation is leadership.
You're the leadership. What are you talking about?
It is. And maybe today, of all days, fortunately, I had my first moment where, so I've got two business partners, and for 6 months we've been having weekly meetings, and they've been great. They're just uneventful. What do we need to do here? Everybody's kind of pulling the train along a little bit. And I get into this conversation an hour before our group meeting with this person that's going to be my chief operating officer, and she's reading my debrief. So backing up a little bit, this new venture is electrical parts procurement and expediting. And as we go through every order, I try to capture as much information as I can and share it with the team, so they know all the things that we're winning on, all the things that we're losing on. They can get a sense of everything.
Yeah.
And so she's read through it, and she's got a bunch of questions. And one thing that we realized today is in the model that we're striving for, it works, but we've got some derivatives that maybe have room for more profit. And so she's trying to understand what I'm trying to say in this document. And we move from a written document over to a spreadsheet. And she's like, let me just lay this out. I just need to visualize it. And we get down to this one point, and I said, let me just manually change this number to, I just want to illustrate something. And she's very, very precise. I thought I was precise, but she wanted an exact answer of why I was doing the thing that I was doing. And I said, I don't have an answer for that, but what I do need to do is illustrate this problem that may arise so that we can work towards this answer. And we went back and forth for like 15 minutes. And for the first time in 6 months, we had a really tense conversation. And I realized, I've been realizing more and more in the last couple of years that usually when I have these moments of tension, it's really just a communication barrier. And I had to dig in and go, why do we have this tension? Why are we stuck on this? And we went around and around, and I tried to back her out, and she pulled me away from where I was stuck. And we finally got to this point of, okay, we don't have an answer for it, but I was able to just randomly say something. She goes, that's what I needed to hear. I needed to hear that you've identified a problem between A and B. We don't need to address it today, but let's make a footnote and move on. And I went, oh, this is good. Now we haven't necessarily addressed the hurdle, but we've encapsulated it in a way that doesn't mean it's a problem today. It's not important. It's not blocking us. It's not preventing us from making money. But she just wanted to understand it better. And it causes tension because she wanted an answer I didn't have. And I was like, how do we get there? How do I give you an answer that I don't yet have? And I find this pattern over and over, and I don't know if anybody will ever solve it. I know I'm going to strive to, but in a very similar vein, about a month ago, I had a very similar conversation with my girlfriend for a decade now. And it's maybe once a year, maybe once every other year. She'll take a carton of milk and lay it down in the refrigerator, and it leaks. Like, why? Why do you do this? I inevitably find it. I clean up the mess. And I've realized I've never explained the why not to do it to her. For her, it's, there wasn't any room. So I just put it in and laid it down. And so we're talking through it. And again, I'm getting frustrated going, I know there's a communication gap here. Every time I get frustrated like this, it's because I'm not understanding or they're not understanding. And how do we bridge that? And I finally got to this point, and she goes, well, I just put it back where I got it from. You put it there. And I went, oh, I'm leading this bad example. And I had to explain to her, I only ever lay it down on a shelf if it's brand new and the seal's on. Her eyes got really big, and she goes, oh, I guess I never thought about it that way. I said, that's the only time I make an exception to the rule, but I've never explained that to you. And so you just followed my lead. You just did the thing that you're like, you did it, so why can't I do it?
Sure.
And it was such an eye-opening moment of, man, we've had this little tiny thing for 10 years, and I finally solved the problem. Because I realized I was just setting a bad example by putting a new carton of milk on its side in the refrigerator because there was no room to stand it up.
I got a solution. We're just going to buy you a bigger fridge.
Well,
that's Charlie's solution.
So buy another fridge. What are we doing?
What I love about what you just explained, that is the feedback loop and the beginning of the deep feedback loop. Yeah. Where you actually move from this, well, you're the problem, well, I don't like you. It's to, what are you noticing? And then receiving that. And then they're telling, what are you noticing? And receiving that. And it's like, that right there is like the whole missing link in a lot of the issues that we deal with as leaders. It's being open to receive the feedback loop, and then also being in a vulnerable enough place to where we have the ability to give it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole movement around Raise Up, is it's like, how as leaders do we create these safe spaces so people feel safe enough to come in to that feedback loop so that we can communicate better and grow from it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is just you recognizing it. I mean, just seeing it. I mean, it's the key. It was the key of you recognizing and saying, why does she do this over and over again? And then she explained it to you. And then it just clicked. I mean, it's just that simple communication. She'd have told you that 5 years ago. I guarantee you probably wouldn't have ever let the milk down on the ground and put it on the side, and that would have been a non-issue. But again, the communication, that's having that correct communication. And I think sometimes you have to be in that right mindset too. It's like you have to be in the one of like, okay, why are we doing this continually over and over again?
Yeah, it's and it's hard. It's So my new venture, I'm trying to take all of these opportunities from moments like this that
Yes,
I've learned
absolutely.
to address things before they become an issue. And inevitably, I'm going to run into things that become an issue because I don't observe them or they're just not important for the day. But today, my COO was having a moment. Her current main employer is having a meltdown, and she's talking about something that was problematic. He had gone in and transferred ownership of some Google Drive stuff and basically blocked some employees who are current employees from accessing their files. And it caused a big operations disruption.
Yeah.
And she's going on and on about how bad this is. And I said, this might seem odd, but this is probably a good segue into our own business. And I got like this puzzled look, and I said, we're all happy right now. Like we all get along and there's no tension. I said, but I do actively back up all of our files in an offsite Google backup. And I do have access to them. We've never talked about it explicitly, but I've got access to all of your company files. And that seems to bother you right now at your current job. They've got their own rights to it, but whatever nuances in it that I don't need to understand is a problem for you. So let's put this on the table. Let's figure out how you guys want to deal with your corporate data, how we want to deal with it as the three of us, and make sure that down the road, if we ever get into this tense situation, that I'm not the problem because 10 years ago I decided to back up our data and you didn't know about it.
Right.
And she goes, oh, well, you're not evil like my current boss. No, but it doesn't mean I won't be evil in 10 years.
Sure.
According to her perspective.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's another aspect that we work through as managers and owners is it's like the person that you hired who was like completely aligned with your core values, something changed either in them or in the frequency of the organization, and now there's no longer alignment.
Yeah.
So you're not evil, however, what people perceive, that's what's true to them.
Well, and I think this goes with your family. Goes with your relationships and everything like that. We had that conversation with Charlie yesterday. Charlie, we asked him why he had our mechanic to see if he can help change oil and do things. And I said, Charlie, why don't you just go to me? And he goes, well, I didn't know what the answer would be. And then he goes, well, I thought maybe you'd say no. So he was using a backyard channel instead of just saying, hey, do you think I can help Steven change oil and do some stuff like this and let it do it? He had Steven ask, thinking that the results would be different. So last night I just told him, I'm like, hey, I approve for you guys to help do some oil change and some other stuff like that. Why don't you just ask me? And he didn't know. So he didn't know to ask, or he didn't know how the answer would go. He didn't want rejection. He didn't want all these things. So it's a communication issue that I think it strives in everything that we do, to our vendors, to our contractors, to our, to the people that provide services to us. Some people just, so I think you're right, getting it cleared out the door, getting all that stuff. In the beginning, it opens it up wide open. Then there's no issues. Like, why are you having all this information in a backyard Google room that I didn't know about?
Your secret swirling.
Yeah. So you're just like, hey, I'm just going to bring this out in the open. And I think the openness is great for a lot of people, because if there was a problem, then she'd be explaining to you right away, and then you guys could fix it, like the milk.
Yeah. And I said, I'm sorry I didn't talk to you guys about this before. I know it's not an issue today. I had maybe a little PTSD from my Truckwell days, because when the end came and I didn't have certain things backed up and it was a scramble, I was just trying to be proactive so that if there's a day where we don't have access to live data and we need to go to a backup, it's already done.
Sure.
Right.
It's your data.
Yeah. And I didn't think that you guys might be sensitive to how I handled corporate data. It's secure, it's within our control, but you just didn't know there was a copy of it. And maybe that's all that matters.
Right.
These little feedback loops are very important.
Well, and I think recognizing what you noticed is I'm noticing this thing in my body that is giving me the signal. And some of us will label that as a trigger. Some of us will label that as like a yuck or whatever, but that's what we need to be like really tuning into, is it's like, oh, like I'll notice a little, I call it this edginess sometimes between us because we're married, and we spend a lot of time together.
We work together.
And so I will notice this edginess and I'll be like, okay, what do I need to receive from this right now? Where's this coming from? But before I would just be like, why are you being an asshole? You know what I mean? And where did that get me? When really it's showing up because it wants to teach me something if I'm open.
Sometimes it's the reflection of the other person too. It's just, you don't know what you don't know. And so if you understand and you ask the right questions, you get the answers. And I think, Chris, a lot of people, and like our listeners and stuff like this, and we're talking about the business plan and what you're doing and how that's going. Maybe in a little bit, you can explain kind of what that is, because you've explained it to us just in a few minutes, but
Yes.
like it really sparked my interest, because like when I told you, I was like, this could allocate to anything and everything. So why don't you kind of explain what that is so we can
yeah.
understand
Your latest adventure.
your latest adventure, so we can understand, so these people can understand what you're doing, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of questions coming out of this.
Yes.
Okay. So from the start, I guess, a year or so ago, I had this idea and I toyed around with it for a while. And it's, in a nutshell, software that helps communication. We all know software. Most of us know software as something we go interact with, whether it's a spreadsheet or an app. You want DoorDash, and we're accustomed to filling out form fields and a little bit more friction than maybe we would like to just get the job done. And so I saw this opportunity with electrical contractors in particular that don't want to be hassled by an app. They don't want to, they just want to get the job done. And so the thing I'd hear over and over again is, I have to deal with this as a project manager. My guy in the field scribbles down on a notepad and he takes a photo of it and he texts me. He won't send me an email. He won't send me a text.
Or a link.
Yeah. And it's over and over. No matter how much I request that they do something for me, I'm getting what I feel like is the bare minimum. And it was not just one person. It was many people that I talked to in the industry. And I thought, I experienced this a lot at Truckwell. I love technology. I tried to put technology into play so that we'd get more data and we could take better action on things. But there was just all of this friction of, why do I need to do this? Why do I need to do this?
This is a waste of my time. I need to be doing the thing.
Yeah, I need to be.
Chris, if I remember right, we had a lot of people that have been at Correctwell for a long time doing the same thing over and over again by using books, by doing write-up sheets, and actually manually putting things in. I mean, like some of those people had been around since your dad had started the company.
Oh, 20 years or so.
Yeah, so they were just, they loved the way they did their systems and their things, and you come in and I see, in fact, in one of my buses the other day, I found one of your Truckwell stickers up in the mirror that was in there, and I laughed at it because you were a little QR code, and it made me think about how you were able to scan it and be able to tell exactly what was going on with that vehicle.
Yeah, that was one of those moments that, and thank you for that reminder, because I'm always looking for more stories to write about.
Yeah.
And that was a piece of technology that we tried to implement to make not just one person's life easier, but a lot. And I think the thing at the time that I didn't realize, or maybe I wasn't open to listening to some feedback from my own crew, was the friction that they got came across as, short-sighted or whatever, and I wasn't willing to dive deeper with them, or to kind of pull on the threads and see where they went. And as I stepped out of Truckwell and I started doing other things and moved into this project, it was, why do I need to force something on them? And I thought a lot about grocery stores. Yeah, we went to the self-checkout model. A lot of businesses start putting the burden on the end user to save cost, to do whatever. And over time, we see some chains bringing back in actual cashiers because the people like it better. Especially the older crowd that just doesn't want to do it. There's the demographic there, and as much as I love self-checkout, I also love having a conversation with a cashier. And so I thought, why can we make software so transparent that the user doesn't know they're using it?
Amen.
And I think that was part of my challenge. And in the middle of all of this, I diverted to try this concept out in a very abstract way with pizza delivery. And I thought, can I order pizza from the Moose's Tooth and have it delivered to my house? They don't deliver. I would love it delivered. I hate waiting. I hate going for the drive. I don't care if it's a little cold.
And there's always a line.
And there's always a line. So I work weekends here and there, and I got it all tied together. And at first I thought I was my own customer. And so I was trying to make the system simple for myself. But then I realized they were a user of my software. And at the point I got it working in such a way that they're using it, but they don't have to implement anything. They don't have to install new software. They don't have to change the way they work. They literally didn't know they were using my software because it allowed them to go 100% with their current process where, as some of you may know, like you order a pizza online, they tell you, hey, it's gonna be ready in 45 minutes, come wait outside, we'll call you when it's ready, come in and pick it up. And I was able to use all of those little signals to automate parts of the process and go, okay, I'm going to give them a phone number. It ties into a virtual voicemail box and text message. And it doesn't matter if they leave me a voicemail or a text message. I can run it through some business logic. Is this from the moose's tooth? Are they telling me that they're talking about my order? Is the order ready or is there a problem?
You're teaching it.
Yeah. And if I get enough yeses, I can just tell an Uber driver to go pick it up for me.
Sure.
Yes.
And for them, they're just picking up the phone, doing their job as they normally would.
100%.
So zero friction on your
I
end.
love this whole idea that they're actually the user also.
Yeah. And then it like started to click even more. Okay, so now can I apply that to electrical? So the guys in the field who are using it don't have to change their workflow. I'm solving the problem for the guy who has got to deal with it in the office. Great, we can solve that problem. The guy in the field is going to just act how he's going to act, and we're going to translate it so the guy in the office has very minimal to do. And so I'm getting to the point now where everything is finally getting tied together. There's a little classic software, there's some AI in there a little bit, and it's really neat to see something like a text come through that says, hey, I need 4 boxes of Cat 6 cable delivered to City Hall. And that's it. But from that, I know who sent it. I know all their suppliers.
You know where they're at.
I know City Hall, and I can reach out to Google and say, hey, I'm in Anchorage, Google, where's City Hall at? And they return me an actual address. And in the meantime, I've sent out price and availability requests to all the vendors. They're coming back with
And when you say you sent it out, it's not you, it's your software program.
It's all automated. It's just like
they're looking for all the best deals for you automatically and get you like real time information.
Oh, absolutely. And it might take 30 minutes for the guy at the parts house, but now the parts house is my user, just like the moose's tooth was.
Yes.
And they don't know they're using my software because all they're doing is hitting a reply. They're attaching their PDF and they hit send. It digests it all. It does everything it needs to, and then sends a link to the user to say, hey, is this really what you want? We can get it, approve the price. And then there's accountability on the other end. And they go, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's everything I need. They make changes if they need to. And then it's off, and then it's to them. And nobody has to touch anything. And it's so awesome to get feedback like, you just saved me like 2 hours today. I didn't have to deal with calling parts houses. I didn't have to deal with anything. And your price is cheaper than anything I could do in-house too. But still, at the base of it, to be able to interface with these other businesses without saying, hey, you've got to install my software, we've got to do a tech integration, we've got to do X, Y, and Z.
There's going to be training.
Yeah. No, I don't have to train anybody. I can conduct commerce in an automated fashion with very minimal friction. And that's super exciting.
And I think one thing that we all look at is labor. Labor is one of our hugest,
Labor and insurance.
Insurance, fuel. Yeah, I mean, these are all huge costs for us. So and one of the things that we've looked at is we had a hard time finding some employees. So we started going some people out of country and doing some other things with this. But you could have somebody that's answering those emails and has a whole inventory list to be able to pound those back to you. Our assistants are great. I mean, they're just Johnny on the ball, so they could have those things back to you instantaneously. And then you have no downtime. So you still have people at the warehouse that are still stocking and putting those things there. But you have the people that are just saying, yeah, we have those, here's the price, boom, push it back. Now you got that information coming back to you. Again, like you said, you don't have to go through any platforms or anything else like that because your platform's already dissecting the whole entire thing. AI is just ripping it all apart, shoving it back in the box and sending it to you and say, here you go.
And the nice thing is this, treating it as I would a startup without technology. Going, okay, if I had to do A, B, and C, how would I do it manually? And going through all the pain points and going, okay, I don't have to reach out. I can interact with all these parts houses in automated fashion, but I've already started having conversations with them at the management level locally to say, hey, I'm bringing all this value to my customers that are your customers. I can bring value to you too. Let's share information.
Yes.
I can tell you, hey, your guys are consistently the longest to reply to emails. Your price is a little bit high. Hey, you're always the cheapest. But you can also help with your limited resources by providing me info up front. Imagine sending me a monthly or a weekly or a daily price list. A lot of your systems can just be automated. Hey, run this report, send it to this person on this time schedule. You don't have to do anything other than just one time set it up, send it to me, I'll digest it all, I'll put it into my system, and your price and availability requests from me go to zero. The only time you will ever hear from me is when I send you a purchase order. Oh, their eyes get about this big and go, wait, you can save me time too? Yeah, okay, sure. We'll help you save some money, and there'll be more of a margin in it for both of us. We can get back to doing more important things than writing estimates that maybe we close 50% of.